So when I drop my hands and I realize I'm holding up this sense of an obstacle between me and the world, then I realize as I let go of that belief or let go of holding on to that, there's actually space between me and having you or having you as my future or my life or a partner or a work associate or simply freedom or happiness. So on YouTube, you'll see that explained just about like that, but when broader, you can see my full body and I'm playing around and stuff. But the idea there is that when we have a feeling or a thought inside that limits our ability to have joy or relief from our emotions that we suffer from, when we do that, we keep ourselves from living life more fully. And by the time we're in our deathbed, we say, oh, I wish I would have lived life more fully. So my invitation to you all, and Jenny, I appreciate you being with me in this for the UK and wherever around the world people see this who want to come to the UK, to Brighton or to Glasgow in the spring, is if you're ready to actually feel different about your life and be different in your life, then this process, this technique called the Sedona method, is a radically simple tool to be on the face of the planet right now. It's short, it's quick, it's subtle, and very simple. So that was a really long answer to that question, and I hope it landed somewhere.
Can I just add something to that, David? I'd just like to say to the people out there how it has, I mean, I am outwardly successful in the things that I've achieved, but certainly how the Sedona method has worked for me. Yes, I'm successful. Yes, I've been a trainer for many years and run a business, but I've always felt like I've had to push through that wall that you're talking about. I've done it, but I've pushed and I've pushed against it. And that's been very much a feeling for me. And certainly when I started training, I used to spend the month before worrying, the week before not sleeping, and the morning before being sick. Wow. And then I'd arrive, I'd turn up and I'd do my training. I'd be very confident. At that point, I'd let it go. But I'd have to go through this struggle, that wall of limitation. Now I'm happy to say with the Sedona method, I sleep right up to the course, through the course. I wake up and eat my breakfast. I eat loads through the course. And I just show up and have a great time. So I'm coming from a place now running trainings of being in a place of just really thoroughly enjoying what I'm doing, which is great.
That's such a great example because it means that anybody that's watching this right now, the idea here is that there are many things which you will be doing in your life, whether you do the Sedona method or not. So the question then is, would you like to be doing them with ease? That's the question, and you can actually do that.
And that's what I hear from my patients and my clients, is that now things are happening effortlessly.
Right,
for them.
Right. Yeah. The idea with that is, excuse me, the idea of effortless is that the Sedona method really doesn't give you freedom or a sense of peace. It actually uncovers the sense of peace, which is the undercurrent of your actual being. You were born with, as a child, we're born and we're in the flow. We're taking in data, we're processing, but we're not thinking yet about limitation. We're not thinking about emotional suffering. We cry because we want food. Everything is very simple. Or we get hurt and we cry until we get soothed and we feel better. But we don't hold on to it. And then at some point we begin to hold on to these feelings and believe that they're useful. Like if I get mad, I'll get or if I cry or ... right? And so what the Sedona method does is as you release those, you discover that you can have what you desire because your true nature is in union with the universe, not in opposition and not separate from. And then things happen effortlessly. All of us, I ask this in my class every time, and just about 100% answer affirmatively. I say, how many of you have had a thought about a person and they call right then? Some level, everyone has had an experience of that.
Yeah.
Most people have.
Yeah.
And the idea is there is a harmony. There is a natural flow, which is effortless, which happens more and more and more and more. The more you let go of the sense of a me working hard, and all of that dissolves and you do work and play and love more effortlessly. So it's a really good point.
Thank you. David, I'd like to take you back in time now to and kind of find out whether there's any influences, any situations or any people in your life who've actually brought you to where you're at now.
Sure. I feel like I should do this right at that moment. Let's see if I can just do this much. I wasn't planning on doing that, but it just happened. I played the reason I played effortlessly. Did you see how I flowed through that?
Yeah, I
did. My early life had a lot of music in it. Guitar, my sisters played. We sang around the piano and stuff at holidays. But the reason I'm connect the bridge here is that my mom was real present during all that time. And my life before I became a Sedona method instructor was as an actor. I was an actor professionally for about 30 years. So I've been around the world on 5 continents and performed at events, United Nations events also, performed in addition to later being a part of leadership trainings last year. But my mom was always unconditionally present with me. When I would come home in 4th grade or in 5th grade, I used to be beaten up every recess by a man named David Igliori. God bless you wherever you are, because you were a big lesson to me. I never fought back, and eventually he became a good friend. And it was interesting that process, because I'd always say, why are you beating me up? I don't understand. And, you know, he wasn't like this kind of beating up. It would be twisting the head until you say, do you give, you know, that kind of thing. Crowds would always gather because here goes again, you know. But I didn't have that part of me that wanted to fight. It was more like understand what's going on. And that's been my life work now, is understanding for people where their fight is and helping dissolve it so that they become friends with themselves first and then, of course, with the world. But my mom, when I would come home and tell her these stories, she was always just present. And I felt this sense of unconditional allowance for me to be who I was or to have the feelings I had. So she was integral in my sense that the world is safe. And I know that many, many people don't have that. And many people have been through violence or abusive trauma in their lifetime with parents or grew up without parents. So I consider myself really lucky. My dad, on the other hand, was really loving too. He was just he was a playful man. He liked all these, like he taught me how to do this, right? You take the thumb and take it apart like that.
Oh, mine taught me to do that too.
Yeah, right. So he brought me a playfulness of spirit and let me know that it was okay to be light and play. So both of my parents are really, really important, I would say, pillars or part of my core, and I'm grateful for that. And I had a mime teacher who taught me about, when I was 17, he was part of my spiritual journey, in that he taught that space, as you viewers are watching this right now also, there's space between you and the screen. And in that space, if you think of it like a metaphor of life, there appears to be nothing. And yet, if that's the metaphor of your life, there's the possibility of everything, the potentiality of everything. Quantum physics talks about this too. So it depends on what you bring into the space to call your life. So if you're bringing all your past and repeating it because you believe in it, then that's what this space gets filled with. So when we let go of our emotions from the past, this space suddenly has room to create or to have a different experience of life.